All right, y'all, I'm going to show you how to utilize the CRS Tax Data search, which is a single sign-on with Flex. So the first thing you want to do is log in through Flex MLS. You can go to Menu. We'll scroll down to CRS Tax Search. You can see that I've got this favorited, so it actually shows up in my favorites up here. So I'm going to click it right there. It's going to single sign on you to CRS Data. There are two different options through the tax suite. One is a property search. This is very similar to the GIS. So you can search for an individual property address or an individual owner's name within the county or city that you plug in here. You can choose all of these that are available. You can also do prospecting, which is what we are going to talk about today. So I'm going to click the prospecting tab. And from here, it defaults to Roanoke County, but I'm actually going to look in Roanoke City. So I'll do Roanoke City. I'll click out of there. And what I like to do here is if I'm looking for a very specific area, such as Raleigh Court, what I'll probably do is look for something that I know is in that area, such as Windsor Avenue. And here you'll see some suggestions pop up. So I'm going to click on Windsor Ave Southwest. And my reasoning for this is that I want it to zoom me to that area. You can see right here it's highlighting different groups of addresses and homes that are along that Windsor Avenue. I'm going to zoom in until I see these green property lines. That's really what you want to see when you're looking for addresses. So obviously, Raleigh Court expands a little bit beyond what this screen is allowing us to do. But I actually am thinking about sending out a mailing to everybody in Raleigh Court, or at least some folks within the Raleigh Court area. So what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to click the draw button and I'm going to click polygon. And I'm actually going to go ahead and draw the area that I want to include in my Raleigh Court quote unquote neighborhood. So I'm going to keep drawing. You just keep clicking and it will include everything that you decide to encompass within this area. So I'm not doing anything special here. I'm just going to kind of expand, and if I need to move the page, I'll just click and drag. So I'm holding my click right now. That way it doesn't mess up my property lines. Okay. So I'm going to keep going this way, and let's say I want to go down Grandin all the way down. I'm going to include Roslyn Hills, and I'm going to stop right here. Okay. So my area looks pretty good. I like this. It actually shows me that I've got 215 properties found, which obviously you have well more than that in this area, but I'll tell you a little bit about that later. In order to close my polygon, I just go to this purple circle where I started and I double click. And once I double click, it's going to ask me, do I want to include the selection I've selected or exclude them? I want to include them this time. It's going to load. And it says that I've only got 124 properties in here. That's because it's only identifying my Windsor Avenue properties. So all I need to do is close that out. It's going to refresh. And now I've got 2,700 properties. You can see that in the top right here. Okay. So in order to pare this down, I can do a few things. First thing I always want you to do is go to this tab that says MLS listings. Remove all active listings and click update. You don't want to solicit any currently listed properties. Right? I'm going to go ahead and do a couple of other things. I'm going to refine by owner type. So I really only want people who are currently living in their home. I don't want to market to anybody with a rental right now. I'm also going to go to ownership duration. So I'm not going to market to anybody who's only lived in their home for the last 3 years. So I'm going to go anywhere from 4 to 50 plus years. So we're paring it down a little bit now. We've got a little less than 1,300 homes in our list. I'm also going to do appraised value. Let's say I want anything above 100,000. Okay. And it'll automatically max out your top tier here. So you don't have to put a maximum amount. It will just go 100 or above. Okay. Property type, we'll do residential. I don't need any commercial properties in this. Recent sales is really similar to ownership duration, so I'm not going to do anything with recent sales. Same thing with last sales date. You could filter by last sales price, which is obviously a little bit different than assessed value, but I'm not going to do that today. You can do anything like improvement types. If you want specific single family homes or multifamily homes, you can do that. Acreage, what year it was built, all of that good stuff. Once you're ready and you have all the addresses that you want, all you need to do is click export, this top right button, and you'll select everything. So what you'll do now is once you've selected everything, you will click the export button right here. And what that's going to do is it's going to download a CSV file for you. And that CSV file is going to have all of these addresses that you've selected, all 1,216 of them. And it will have the owner's address and it will have the property address. But what I want to show you now is closing out of this export. Instead of doing that, you can also create labels. So I'm going to click create labels, and it automatically defaults to remove exact duplicates. So you want to keep that. And then it'll skip a couple of things that you wouldn't want to include in your labels. You can decide how you want the labels addressed, if you want the second owner included on them, and then if you want to replace the name with the words current resident. I typically don't include my line for current resident. I think it sounds a little less personal. So I'll just use the first name first for the addressee, and I will use the owner's address rather than the property address. Now, typically with the criteria we've put in with this specific search, these are going to be the same address because we chose not to mail to absentee owners. Okay. I choose 5160 here for the Avery labels. This is your typical mailing label, and this also coordinates with some cheaper Staples labels that you can find, or you can also buy some on Amazon that are comparable to 5160 in the same size. You don't need to choose anything here. You want to do a PDF format because that's the easiest one to print, and then you just click create labels, and it will download you a PDF of those labels. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out, and I hope this was helpful. Thanks so much.